low vis, kind of out of the way, but I could also don more of a capability than just my on the waistband, my pew-pew in the waistband. We don't say the thing. We don't do that anymore because we'll lose our account like we did just for a year. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm in the middle of Moab. Just got done with an epic trip with Rich Larson, a hard enduro rider, but he also is going to be teaching at our first Moto experience, or Moto X, which is an experienced in technical riding with Rich Larson, as well as survival, first aid, all the things that we teach at Fieldcraft Survival as well, all wrapped up in an experience. If you've done an overland mobility experience with me or Mike Hernandez or Doc Jones, you kind of know what to expect. Imagine that, but the Moto version of it, August 30th through 1 September in Tabiona, Utah. I'll link it down below as always for all the stuff that we're doing. Had a really good time here with all the guys and gals. It was kind of like a, hanging out media session, but we always learn from each other. Cal Cooper from Backcountry Adventure Motos was out here. Greg Lappin, professor of black belt in Fieldcraft Jiu-Jitsu. All the regular characters and cast from Fieldcraft Survival. The big thing that I want to talk about, I've been talking about this recently, was the speedball. This quick reaction, elevated capability in a bag. And I talk about it in trying to provide you value by also offering our bags, but I'll tell you first and foremost, it doesn't have to be my bag. It doesn't have to be a Fieldcraft bag. Dude, it could be a trash bag. I don't care what it is. You have to be more capable because you have capacity in your rig, by your workplace, at home, and I just want you to carry the right things. I think about motorcycles and I think about how many would have had the opportunity in Lahaina to potentially escape if they were just thinking about that. It's why I think e-bikes, motorcycles, bicycles are relevant, because you're able to get off the beaten path. Just bugging out is a variable, but also what you carry on your person, what you carry in your rig, and what you have staged at home are very important. Let's talk about this bag. We are cold. We're doing this cold. Yoshi's holding the camera. We just got done doing this epic YouTube video for you guys on Fieldcraft Survival's channel. And I brought my personal family's disaster preparedness bag. Now, the difference between a speedball and a disaster bag is I'm not packing out for security specifically. Like, I'm not going from a pistol to a rifle and to all the things to protect my family. That's a speedball. We'll talk about that later. I actually, because I can't monetize on it, I will do the video. We will not monetize on it, which means it will be ad-free and it will be non-suppressed, hopefully. And then I'll go through disaster bag and the things that I personally pack with me and my kids. All right, let's open it up. So this is a 40 liter from Fieldcraft Survival. Our 40 liter loadout bags have been on the market for a couple years. What I did was I said, hey, I want to partition the spaces, color coordinate it, so you could organize your equipment based on specific priorities. Remember, the key here is ready, accessible. If you have first aid, for example, and it's stuffed at the bottom of the bag in a backpack in your trunk, well, that's not going to help you when you flip upside down. Or if you arrive like an overlanding on the scene of an accident in the backcountry of Moab, it's not going to help you if it's not really accessible. If you have to pick up the contents and bring it into a pile, you're just wasting time, and we know in first aid, time is of the essence. So I made it so you can grab the red bag, for example, pull it out, and have everything you need in one form factor. Now, this is basically an overview for you of the things that I focus on as a priority. I'm not going to get into the details. I'm trying to hold your attention. I probably already lost it, but I'm just going to go over principle or the things that I look at in disaster. Disaster, you're going to have to deal with mass casualties potentially. Your family, your community, and so you're going to need more than one that you would potentially carry on person in an EDC. A tourniquet's nice, but you have 4 extremities. Times that as a multiple of 4 times how many people you have in your family, and easy math, you got a lot of tourniquets, or you're going to need a lot of tourniquets. So I got more tourniquets in here. I have everything in TCCC and basics, Band-Aids and bacitracin, like the normal stuff that I'm going to run into if I have to grab this bag, bug out, displace, or deal with a catastrophe. I mean, a catastrophe could be a breakdown in the middle of nowhere by yourself, which you shouldn't be riding by yourself, in the middle of Moab. Kyle and Mike Hernandez went on a motor ride where they're hours away from anybody, but they had the right equipment. They had the right training, mindset, etc. So they were prepared. Band-aids, bacitration, all the things like, I don't know, burn tech, bandages. Because if you're in and around a vehicle or you're in a natural disaster, you're gonna have burns. Things you wouldn't normally think about in personal defense or personal first aid, you should think about as a family. I don't know, like a SAM splint. Now this is the rigid immobilization system for extremities called the RISE by TACMed Solution, but this is basically a splint that is portable. Think about these things because in first aid, one is none. You're going to need more, and it's not just for you. In my case, it's for my family, okay? So first aid, very important, obviously. Not doing this in any order because I do think security is the number one priority, but we'll get to that last. Let me break out the gray pouch. For me, for disaster preparedness, I broke down gray as survival. Survival are the things that include the necessities like shelter. What is shelter? Well, I have a vehicle because it's in my vehicle. That could be my shelter, but if I have to displace, how am I going to maintain the core body temperature of my kids, for example? This is a bivy sack. It's lined with Mylar. It's going to keep my kids warm. It's going to keep my family warm, and it's the extra large version of it. I also have a fire kit where I could, again, maintain core body temperatures by starting a fire, signal day and night. If you want to signal during the day, for example, take green foliage of any kind, dump it in the fire, and it's going to create a plume of black smoke. I got this. This is my Garmin, but this is tethered to my inReach, which means I could text via this setup. And this is the Garmin GPS Map 66i, which has an SOS feature and is tethered to my account for Garmin. I got my Montana knife. This is the Fieldcraft MKC blade, but just basic stuff. I'm not gonna have a knife all the time on person, but I know if it's here, I know I have it. Lights. I don't just have like a handheld for emergency situations. I also have a headlamp. Again, one is none. I have batteries. I have all kinds of stuff. Most important here is likely going to be the communication aspect of emergency comms via my inReach, which in this case is my Garmin. Moving on, let's go into black. I also put a patch here of Velcro, so you can put like a 2x3 patch, first aid, whatever, to let the people in your family know. You know, it's cool if your family's on the same sheet of music and everybody knows what the color means. You might be the victim. You might say, hey son, go get the red pouch out of the bag and help daddy because you're injured. You could do that, color coordinate, and I like this stuff organized. I mean, the alternative is you got a go bag full of crap. Nobody knows what it is, and they have to bring it to you and depend on you. Here, there's a little bit of thinking behind it. Black, in my case, is my comms package. I depend on smarter people than me when it comes to comms. I have a silent pocket. This is to basically, I mean, my ham radio is in here. I have a Yaesu ham radio in here, but it's protected. Silent is a Faraday bag. They make Faraday bags at silent.com, SLNT. Also, I'm not going to bore you with pulling out this kit, but my ham radio kit is made by Ham Radio Made Easy. I always plug Evan's stuff. Evan doesn't pay me. I'm not sponsored, but he's a good person who puts dumb-proof kits together for people like me who think commo is the most boring subject matter on the planet Earth. This is his specialty. My specialty is doing fun stuff, and commo is not fun. No offense to comms guys, but ham radio nerds are nerds for a reason. You need the expert. And so the 18 Echo, the SF communications guy is Evan. It's Josh Noss of Ham Radio Crash Course. He put a really easy to use kit together with the antenna, the battery, all the stuff in here in utility. The blue. Now, blue for my family is a little different. I would recommend doing food, water, etc. But I have this little guy. It's made by Jace Medical. Again, no affiliation. I had a good experience with them, which is why I'm plugging them on here. I don't get an affiliate kickback or anything like that. This is full of antibiotics. It's got like every type of antibiotic, and you could order it over the counter. I mean, it's a prescription, but you basically do a questionnaire and you could order it to your doorstep. Now, some people would be like, oh my God, that's scary that you're getting prescription. It's like, dude, it's America. You can go to Mexico, go to Tijuana and load up on prescription medications. Have a foundation of prescription meds. They will expire, so understand what the expiration date. to protect you and your family. This is through Jace Medical. There's Contingency Medical. There's all kinds of new companies now that can get you basic things like antibiotics for all the bacteria, all the issues that you're gonna run into. And it's easy to carry, easy to use. And I'm not gonna leave home without it. In Africa, when I was in Africa, you couldn't even get prescription medication because there was no pharmacies. Taking this in a worst case scenario where power's down or the pharmacy is overran because everybody's getting all the medicine out of it, there's no supply chain. It's good to have a stockpile of this. On top of that, I got a whole bunch of calories for the family, dense caloric food that's going to supply my family with energy and blood sugar to keep them going. I do have Element in here. I have like 10 packs of Element. Again, not sponsored. I just use this as a consumer. It's got all the electrolytes. It's got all the sodium and potassium, magnesium that you need to keep balance. It's not just going to be water. You're going to want to drink electrolytes to keep on the up and up, right? That's my blue bag. I augment my bag because there's plenty of space in here with a few things. Let me go over those couple things. One, I have a body armor panel. I don't even know if we sell it anymore. We sold it for a period of time, but why would I carry that? Well, the bag recommendation is, it could be my bag, it could be a 40 liter or 20 liter, but if you don't use my bag, make sure the bag is load bearing. Like this has shoulder straps, you can throw it in your back and bug out, break contact. I can throw it on a motorcycle, weave it through my kit, and make sure that I can carry it and transport it with all the crap that's in it. Make sure you have that. Also, in addition to that, remember, if this is on my back, I might want the protection. I'm not gonna carry body armor in here. My speedball, different consideration. Because the speedball is like, you're in a shopping mall, things pop off, and you might need to rescue your family because your wife's in Macy's and your kids are in the toy store. Well, your pistol might not get it done against adversaries. I mean, 4 losers in Russia where you're not allowed to have a pew-pew at all, nor Molotov cocktails at all, went into a 9,000 person venue and killed 150 plus people. Look, I'm not saying that's like an everyday occurrence. I don't want to fearmonger, but I'm telling you, it happens. It happened at Mandalay Bay in Vegas at a Jason Aldean concert where one idiot, a 65-year-old with a motivation and will and deep down the rabbit hole in conspiracies, did some shady stuff and killed 55 people by himself. He injured 150 people. I often wonder how many people, if in that situation, even the police officers who could identify the guy had the ability to reach out and potentially touch the bad guy. So that's a speedball. That's a different consideration. That's risking a lot of suppression on my channel. Security, I will show you the security components I have. I have a Haley Strategic chest rig, plus up on my EDC pistol, and plus up on my SIG LT Spear. I'm running a 300 blackout. So I got 2 AR-15 mags, which have 300 blackout in them. And this is something that if I need to, low vis, kind of out of the way, but I could also don more of a capability than just my in the waistband, my pew-pew in the waistband. We don't say the thing. We don't do that anymore because we'll lose our account like we did just for a year. In addition to that, again, bam, this is the LT Spear. This is a great platform, reduced signature overall, infrared laser, Unity Tactical riser to get this micro T over to this laser, and 300 blackout. Perfect if I need to access more of a capability, but again, fits all in this bag, pretty streamlined. All right, in addition to that, I have eyes and ears in here. These are Oakley ballistic glasses. I use them on the range, and it's like, why would you have eyes and ears? Well, guys, we're in a sustained catastrophe, natural man-made catastrophe. When you think about home defense, do you think about donning Ear Pro? No, why? Well, because nobody's really said it out loud. Why would you not don Ear Pro? Or why would you not run suppressors on weapon systems when you're doing that? And say, oh my, why would I ever do that? I wouldn't have time. Really, you wouldn't have time to like put on Ear Pro and actually have audible capability to hear. You break off one shot and you're deaf, or the gun goes boom and then it puts your kids in a sympathetic nervous response in fight or flight and you can't control them because they're in the fetal sucking on their thumb. Like, consider it. Keep an open mind, or don't, and just do you. Also, water. Like, the biggest consideration for water for me is I'm not carrying 6 pounds a gallon for water. I'm just not. I live in Utah and there's fresh water plentiful, but I will carry a blivet or bladder to contain water. In this case, I have this blivet by Osprey that allows 1.5 liters or 50 ounces. but it folds down. It doesn't take up any space. And I have this, which is made by Grail, to allow me to procure water, filtrate it, and sanitize it really quickly. So I would pick up the water, filter it by pushing it down, cross-load it into this 1.5, do it again, cross-load it into my belly, into my family's belly, cross-load it, and then keep it inside this bottle. Guys, the biggest consideration for you is it's about your environment. Your environment is going to dictate a lot of this stuff. You have staples of survival for disaster prep or speedball prep, and then you have the environment. If you live in Florida, if you live in Miami, Florida, your considerations for your environment are very different than rural Utah or rural anywhere in America. So consider that. I just gave you an overview of basic things that you're focused on, but it could change drastically depending on where you live. The baseline, security, survival, first aid. Those are the foundation of every disaster bag. Just have a disaster bag. Prepare for that worst case scenario, which is going to cover you down from everything from the worst all the way down to like best case. Oh, it's a bad storm, or electricity went out. Well, you might have the equipment and gear inside that disaster bag. All things fall apart and all the infrastructure is collapsed and you don't have any supplies. This will sustain you for a period of time. Think that way, think outside the box, and just be better prepared. This is available at fieldcraftsurvival.com in both 20 liters and 40 liters. I appreciate all the support. It's not novel. It's just a better way of organizing your stuff to ensure you're best prepared for that worst case scenario for not just you, but you and your family. Stay tuned for a whole bunch of content that we're doing. Subscribe, hit the notification tab on everything, because we just got back our YouTube account. We've been knocked off the radar for a year. The algorithm basically wouldn't push any of our content to the surface. We were demonetized and suppressed drastically because we lost the account. We're back. We're back with the team. We're back with Rich Larson. We're back with mobility. We're back with it, trying to inspire you to get off your ass and do something outside, because that lifestyle is going to lend itself to preparedness. And make sure you check out our Fieldcraft Survival App. The team worked really hard to put that together. We got Kyle Cooper and Mike Hernandez doing content on moto and overlanding. We have Amber and family preparedness, Nate with first aid, Kevin Estella with primitive survival, all the things. Make sure you check it out everywhere apps are found. Until next time, peace out, guys.